Hello and welcome to this wondrous Ascension ride, Emerge with Grace to Live Abundantly and the New Paradigm Virtual Retreat. I am Sandra Thomas. I am the grateful host of this wondrous retreat, which is studied with amazing luminaries that are sharing their wisdom, their experience, their expertise, and their kindness and open heart to assist as many awakening souls that are, beginning to walk the path of ascension in these quite interesting and challenging times. And we're offering you with a heart-based intention, tons of powerful tools, strategies, wisdom, experience that you can use, especially during those times when you need them the most. And today I am delighted to introduce to you a wonderful author, and she has so many tools to share with you. Let me tell you about her, and then I'll talk to her about all of these wonderful tools. She's an amazing writer. She's the international best-selling author of From Questioning to Knowing, 73 Prayers to Transform Your Life, and The Infinite Wisdom of the Akashic Records. You may have an idea who we're talking about here. Her third book, Awaken to Your Life Purpose, Understanding Your Soul Plan, is up in the fall of this year, 2021, on Amazon. She's also the founder of the Akashic Knowing School of Wisdom, where she has taught thousands of students worldwide to access personal soul wisdom and guidance to transform their life, working directly with their personal Akashic keepers. And she has 20 years of experience in spiritual healing. She teaches these simple tools which empower individuals to find greater fulfillment, happiness, abundance, and health. She helps you align with your soul path, understand your soul contracts, and complete your karma and vows. So please welcome Lisa Barnett. So good to have you here with us today.
Thank you, Sandra. I am always excited to just have these deep conversations with luminaries like yourself. So thank you for having me on your show.
I'm so delighted. Lisa, as always, I love to begin our conversations by asking you about your beginnings. How did you start? When did you have your breakthroughs? What made you begin this amazing path of the wisdom of the Akashic Records?
Well, honestly, I would say I didn't have a whole lot of choice. I know some of us awaken in our 30s or 40s or 50s or 60s. But my big epiphany was when I was all of about 3 years old. So it was at that point that I realized that I was back in a body and that I was literally trapped here, and I was not very happy about it. So I literally did all I could as soon as I could really read, like adult type books. I started to study when I was just about 13, 14 years old. I wanted to understand what I could remember. So for me, it's been really a lifelong journey. And, like everyone's, it's had its ups and its downs. I've lost a couple of my best friends when I was a teenager, which kind of made me decide, I don't want to do this. Whatever it was I was going to do, I'm not doing it, because, if there is such a kind of, at that point, right, we're looking back in the 60s and 70s. I was not raised religiously, but many of my friends were Catholic, and there was a lot of energy kind of the sinner, of the angry God. There was a lot of kind of trauma in religion back in that day. And so I thought, you know what? I'm not playing. I'm not going to do this. Whatever it is, if you're going to take my best friends, if you're going to take these sweet, beautiful young women away, something's wrong here. So I don't want to join. So I literally kind of went off and decided I was just going to make money and have fun. And I literally did that for about 15 years. I did that. Yeah.
And what connected you with the wisdom of the Akashic Records? How did you get to that path of wisdom?
Well, again, so I have to say, in hindsight, I'm very blessed because these things have happened really naturally for me. So after I went through my kind of crazy 15 years of traveling and working in corporate and having way too much fun, I started to study healing. I realized that I was, really had come to be a healer. I kind of got over myself and my anger, my upset, my trauma from, the death of my friends, and got back on my path. So what I did was I studied with a woman for 6, 7, 8 years, and she was an amazing healer and clairvoyant. And she taught me so much about healing. And the interesting thing is that she would say, after you've done healing for your client, you're making space. So this is really an important point for, I think, everybody to know and to kind of work with, is when we make space in our energy field, if we do a healing or a clearing and we make room, it's important that you fill your energy field or body up with the highest energy of you. Otherwise, the universe will rush in with random junk. And so you really want to be conscious about what is in your energy field and space. And so my lovely teacher used to say, go up to the Akashic Records. You can go up to the gate. You don't get to go in. Nobody can go in the records, but you can go up to the gate and ask your clients, Akashic Record keepers, to fill them up with their highest Akashic energy and physical level energy and information. So from way back in the 80s, I knew about the records, but in that day, people mostly believed, if they've ever even heard about the Akashic Records, people actually believed they were not accessible. And there is a reason for that, which I, of course, asked the record keepers many years later. I said, why do people think you can't go in the records? And they said, because, we, the keeper of the records, pulled the energy vibration of the Akashic field away from Earth back in the Dark Ages, which was about 1000 AD, pulled the energy away so that people could no longer access this information because people were misusing it for their own gain. So
Makes sense.
It wasn't until the 60s, 70s, 80s that the vibrations started to come back, that they started to bring it back down. And this was one of the things they asked me to help them with. They said, will you help us bring this energy, this information back to humanity? Because it's been gone for 1,000 years and people forgot about us. They forgot that they have an Akashic record library filled with information and wisdom.
Amazing.
So, it kind of happened spontaneously. I started to go up to the record keepers and be like, please, sirs, can my clients have some energy, And then they just started to talk to me. And they actually talked to me for almost 5 years before I realized who was talking to me. So kind of I'm just giving you weird little tools along the way. If somebody, some entity, some beings start to talk to you, make sure you ask who you're talking to, because they're not all of the light. So it's important to be conscious, right? We're talking about ascension. And what we know is that so many people are just waking up. Maybe it was 3 months ago, maybe it was last year during COVID, and you started to meditate and it changed your world, right? Maybe it was 5 or 10 years ago, but you're just had a little bit extra time to spend doing a little studying or, learning or meditating, whatever that might be for you. But there are a lot of unembodied spirits, entities, beings, and they are not all of the light. And so it really is important to ask, if you start to, get information, hear a voice, anything like that. Who are you? Where are you from? Are you of the light? Are you pure divine source energy? Are you here for my highest and best good? They really have to answer you truthfully, which is kind of an interesting and a little bit of a strange thing, but
fascinating by the Akashic Records. How about starting at the very beginning, just like the song? What is Akashic Records?
Right. So the Akashic Records are the recording of your soul's journey throughout all time space continuum. So what that means is when your soul individuated from source and started its journey, everything you ever did, every world you lived on, every dimension you lived in, every form you took, that information was recorded in your own personal Akashic record. So to me, the easiest, way of thinking about it is that you have a library. Every lifetime would be a book, and then it gets filed away. And most people that are, on the earth today that are a little bit older, probably over 30, because the younger souls often, and the new babies and the under 3s or even maybe under 5s are coming in really energetically different and more clear and more pure without karmic patterns. They haven't been human for 500 lifetimes. But most of us over 30s, especially over 40s, over 50s, right? It's almost like the older you get, the more often you've been to Earth, because we're really, I work with a lot of some of the like almost original light workers. There were a huge group of light workers who came in back in right after World War II, like 1944, right? To make sure that we didn't blow up the world. There was that time, right, where it was very likely or very possible that we could have blown up the world. If we started World War III, that would have been the likely outcome. So lots of light workers coming way back then. Lots of us were coming in the 50s and 60s, right? And still, of course, to this day. But
I see.
But some of us.
Is there any specific place where we can locate the Akashic Records? Is it somewhere around us in some, or is it in space? Where are they located?
Yeah, so the Sanskrit word Akasha is actually translates to sky. Really simple translation would be sky or ether. So what the record keepers say is that they are part of the quantum field. They are part of pure source energy. They are not in our body. I mean, I believe we have very deep connections in our bodies, in our bones, in our heart. We connect very much through the heart chakra, through our crown chakra. So we often will feel it in the body, but the big storage unit is just pure source energy. It's what the record keeper said to me again, all these years ago when I first started quizzing them on all of these questions, when they were like, help us bring this back. I'm like, you have to tell me a whole lot more on what I'm getting involved in, right? They said, it's pure source energy. And because it's all part of really the quantum field, if you can imagine that there is no time and space. So all of our past lives are happening simultaneously at this very moment, which is a gift. If you can imagine, you can go in and connect into those that have talents that we want to reclaim, and those that have the emotional pain and trauma that we would like to clear and heal. And because we're moving outside of time and space in the quantum field, you can actually access that energy and that information and that wisdom from your own personal Akashic records.
That's awesome. So how does the soul purpose connect with the Akashic records or the Akash?
So basically the way the Akashic record keeper, so just that one more step is, if you imagine you've got your own library, you also have your very own librarians. So you've got pure divine source beings of light. They are not angels. They are not ascended masters. They have never been human. They're not anybody you know who has died. It's definitely not your grandmother. So, a lot of people will say, I think I know my record keepers. It's like, well, you wouldn't know them from this life because they've not been human. And that's important to them because they say, we have no judgment because we have not been through this human world. We haven't believed in right or wrong. We don't have any of those kind of concepts or karma. So because they have no judgment, when you go into your records and they tell you about a lifetime where maybe you weren't such a nice person, because part of what we do is everything, right? We like to experience, the good and the light and all of that lovely aspects. And we also like to play in the dark and create, dark realms and do not such nice things. So we do it all. And there's no judgment. It's all about our growth and our learning. So what the record keepers say then is that before you come into a body, you write a soul plan. And your soul plan includes a lot of information about the gifts and talents you want to share with other people. And we often think about that as a purpose, but really, truly, your purpose is even way more than that, because your purpose is to support other souls in the world. Your purpose is to learn and grow. Your purpose is to, in that growth kind of way, complete karma, learn, grow around the challenges and the energy patterns that we often consider like bad or negative. Like a lot of times clients will come to me and they'll say, I must have been a terrible person because I have awful karma, and it's like, well, the good thing is it really doesn't work that way. So no, you're not getting punished, but there's something your soul wants to learn. So it's about figuring out what did I want to learn and learning it so you can complete that pattern.
Yeah, without guilt, right? That would be the idea. No guilt.
Absolutely.
And
right.
Lisa, what's the role of relationships as we relate it to soul purpose and the Akash or the Akashic records? Are they also meant to help us learn something, karmic relationships or just relationships?
Well, the good news is that most of us have at least a dozen or more relationships which are built just purely around support. So they're here to support you. You're here to support them. Those are usually our best friends, hopefully your spouse, or hopefully your children or your parents, but that doesn't always work out that way. That's not the plan we write, right?
Yeah.
But so there are quite a few people out there who are here just really in service and in love and in support and guidance. And so that's a great aspect. We certainly like to find them. And we also write soul contracts with a lot of different souls that often we've known before. They may be part of your original soul family. They may be souls that you've had other lifetimes with. But we come together when we're writing this plan and we say, okay, I want to learn about this and you want to learn about that. So you do the act and I'll be the victim and we'll figure it out and we'll forgive each other and we'll come back together and we'll be friends. And, and that all sounds good. But, as you know, that's not usually
what happens if we don't follow that plan? Is it possible not to follow the plan? And what would the consequences be if we don't?
Right. Well, we often do not follow the plan. I think that's one of the interesting things because, of course, we have amnesia, right? You're born, it's dense, you're a baby, you've forgotten everything. There are some of us like myself who then remember when we're 3 years old and we're traumatized by it. We think, oh my God, I can't believe I did this again, right? But most of us are pretty oblivious and probably, some of us are looking to understand because we have that deeper knowing, that feeling, right? That there's more to the world than, just my job and my new car. But honestly, as we start to go, as we start to get those kind of ideas or inklings or feelings that maybe there's more, or maybe I could learn something from this challenge instead of feeling like I've been a victim, or instead of jumping to blame or to guilt or to the low emotions, when we can start to get the idea. And this is really one of the reasons I think the Akashic Records is so powerful, as we start to understand that there's so much more information and reason to the challenges and the life that we live, then we can start to explore that information. We can explore that in our Akashic Records. We can learn to access the Akashic Records and go in and ask the record keepers a billion questions, which is really useful. And,
Yes.
and we start to understand, like, oh, that was, I had that, so just kind of imagine that you were born into a family, and your father left when you were 6 months old. You don't remember him. You never knew him. Your mother was a single mom, working 2 jobs. You were kind of, left with a variety of people. You grew up feeling like, lost and lonely and abandoned, and like the world has given you really, kind of dealt you really a bad hand. And so we often grow up thinking, I'm the victim. I blame my father. My mom worked hard, so I love her and I won't blame her. But sometimes we blame mom because maybe mom's got her own issues going on over there, right?
Yes.
Maybe mom's drinking on the side when she comes home because she's in so much pain. So we
Yeah.
have all of these kinds of traumas and situations and stories, and it could take a million different terms. But if you realized from your Akashic, you go and have an Akashic record reading, or you learn to access your own records, and you ask about, what's my contract with my mother? Why was I born into this family where my father left and I felt like he abandoned us? And I've always felt like I'm not good enough, right? All of these emotional challenges we have from this life here on earth. When your record keepers say, you wrote your contract with these people because you wanted to learn about love, about compassion, about support. You really wanted to be able to love and support your mother. And of course, we're these huge souls. We're like these infinite souls. When we're making these plans, we just never think it's going to be as hard as it is.
Yes.
And so you're going to be this great kid. You're going to take care of your mom. You're going to make life really easy for her. You were going to work through some old karmic patterns around abandonment and blame and shame and guilt. And you wanted to learn this. So that guy that became your father said, I'll be your father and I'll leave when you're young so you can have that experience and learn from it. And the woman who becomes your mother says, I'll be your mom because I want to learn compassion for myself. And I want to learn about abandonment and loneliness also, but I'll have you, our beautiful angel daughter, right? And you'll be the light. And I'll remember all the great things about who I am and who you are. Well, it's a terrific plan, right? But
absolutely not easy though, from the human side, but yeah.
Right. And how many of us remember? How often does that poor overworked mom think, oh, my angel daughter, I love you. And I know we're all beings of light, right?
Not usually.
Not so often, but that's the plan.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy to go through that from the human perspective. It's really, it can be traumatic. And sometimes the journey can take quite long before there is an understanding and a forgiveness. So my next question would be based on that example. What would the transformation be on the person that goes through this reading, the Akashic record reading? Let's suppose in this same case that you just gave us, how can that person have the opportunity to learn and transform themselves?
Yeah, so there's a couple layers to it, because the first layer really is that the Akashic records are part of pure source energy. So when you have a reading, or especially when you learn to access your own Akashic records, you're moving into this beautiful divine source, love and light energy. So you're actually being held in this very high frequency energy of pure unconditional love. And I would say that most of my clients feel that, if not totally consciously, they often feel it almost kind of energetically. Sometimes I'll have people almost break out in kind of tears of joy because they're like, I feel like I'm like wrapped, you know, in a baby blanket or in the arms of the divine, or however that might, you know, be translated for each person. So there is a healing that comes literally from being held in this pure high vibrational energy.
Yeah.
And then along with that natural healing that you're receiving, the information, often the kind of energy of validation, like often people will say, you know, I kind of thought maybe that was possible, but it seemed a little weird, so I didn't trust myself, right?
Yeah.
Or it's very much about often compassion, seeing those two other people, your parents, as pure divine light, you know, souls also, and forgiving them and being that compassion and being that love for them. And so these are all things that we can work with, of course, in the Akashic records, and say, you know, after you have a reading, because the Akashic masters, of course, have given me 73 healing prayers that are in my book, From Questioning to Knowing, has the 73 healing prayers to heal blame and shame and guilt and jealousy and ancestral lineage patterns and family patterns. And, you know, really we can start to work on that energetically outside of the records as well as inside of the records.
I recommend everybody to read this book with the 73 prayers. That sounds absolutely resourceful and supportive, right? Because you have for different scenarios, right, where you can use different prayers. Can you tell us a bit more about that, Lisa?
Yes, absolutely. So there is, I'm just going to pull that book out because
yes, please.
I want to look at some of the prayers because it has a foreword by Jack Canfield, which is so sweet. He's the most lovely gentleman. If you remember from Chicken Soup for the Soul,
yes,
he was the original Chicken Soup for
absolutely.
the Soul guy. So he wrote my foreword. But there's a whole section on how forgiveness heals karma. And there's a forgiveness prayer. There are prayers for healing abuse, prayer for healing family relationship, prayer to free yourself from resentment, prayer for releasing blame, prayer to let go of guilt, prayer for courage. So it kind of goes on as they describe about your soul contracts in your family, about challenging emotions with our family members. There's a prayer to release jealousy and competition, a prayer to release disappointment, right? To release judgment. So all, like I say, about shame and ancestral lineage. So, and then prayers for self-love, which is really beautiful because in the end, that's really where we want to go, is home to self, home to our own heart and self-love, because that's really where all of that forgiveness starts.
Yeah, I think that sometimes we forget to love ourselves, right? It's like, especially like myself too, I was also brought in a Catholic environment when I was a child, but then I noticed it's about giving, but we forget about our loving ourselves, taking care of ourselves, and appreciating ourselves. So how can we be of service, or how can we just love others if we don't begin in our own home, in our heart, by loving ourselves, right? So it's good that you mentioned that loving ourselves would be the starting point in our journey, wouldn't it be?
It absolutely is, because right, when you're an empty well, nothing to give, right?
Yeah.
So it is important, we have to fill ourselves up with love, with divine love. This is really why connecting in so many ways to source energy, to pure unconditional love, to meditation, to self-care, whether that is baths with Epsom salts, or it's your daily yoga practice, or your meditation or guided visualizations, really giving time to yourself, to your body, to fill up so that we're not running on empty. But really the big point is that whatever it is we're experiencing, if we can own the fact that our soul wanted in some way to learn and to grow and to understand, often to help and to support other people, right? Like I was talking about the child who really wanted to be there to support the parents and help them remember that how love can heal. And so we really create all of these different scenarios and challenges so that we can kind of wake up. And then the next step for us often is to embody that and to possibly teach that or share that information or wisdom that we get in some way with other family members or friends, sometimes community. We may become, say, a therapist if we've really overcome a lot of emotional pain and trauma, and we decide, I want to go out there and really help other people to heal their trauma too.
Right.
And so
it's so beautiful. The true story is more beautiful than we think, and we're more powerful than we think. We're not victims. We created these stories, right? To experience, to explore, and to learn and grow spiritually. So once we know these things, and thank you, Lisa, for explaining this so clearly for everyone to understand and to begin to open up our minds to the possibility that we can create good things for ourselves, that we don't have to really lose our sovereignty or the control of our lives, thinking that we don't have any power over it. So this is a very good start. Lisa, would you like to come to the second part of our time together? Would you like to lead us through some experience using the Akashic Records wisdom? Would you like to do that now?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So what we can do is we will bring everybody together, everybody who wants to come together into the Akashic field with us. And so I'll do a brief guided visualization. We'll create a column of light around us to connect us to source and to the Akashic field. And then we'll do a little group healing. And so it feels like we'll do some healing a little about what we've been talking about things like forgiveness and maybe releasing some old energies of kind of blame or shame or guilt. Some of those are very, very important for us to let go of, because these emotions are the lowest vibrations, emotionally on the planet. So if we get stuck down in shame or blame or guilt or anger, or, there's like quite a few low vibrational emotions. If we get really stuck in them and we're ruminating every day and we're being angry and we're feeling like, like it's everybody against, you and, all the different things that happen for us, with us as people, as humans, right? Beautiful. When we get stuck there, it becomes hard to, see the higher wisdom. So one of the things the Akashic Records help us do, I always kind of see it like if you were stuck in, kind of in a swamp, which is what it feels like, right? If you're stuck in all of these low energies and vibrations and shame and guilt and blame, you're stuck in the swamp. Imagine somebody pulled you out and shot you up to the moon, and you could look down on the earth and go, wow, that's really a beautiful place. How come I'm having such a lousy time there? And we can start to maybe see it from a different vantage point. We can see the bigger picture. And this is what the Akashic Records give you, that gift of pulling you out of the swamp and raising your energy and your vibration and helping you to clear and release these old beliefs, conscious and unconscious, these old traumas, these old pains, these, old emotional challenges that we all have. And so as we let that go and release that and can see that, there's there's an aspect which is called witnessing, which is really quite profound. It's like when we can witness, see, notice what we're thinking, you know, what, like kind of from outside, right? From above, from the moon, I can be like, wow, look at me. I'm wading around in that swamp, yelling at people, telling them, you know, blaming them for being stuck in the swamp. And they maybe, I can see that they're standing on a shore with their hand out trying to yank me out of the damn swamp, right? And so all of a sudden I have a different perspective, right? I have maybe witnessed a greater truth of how I'm acting, very likely unconsciously, because most of our life is very unconscious, right? So when we can start to pull ourselves out of the unconscious aspect, witness a greater truth from the Akashic Records, make some steps that, you know, take one of those hands, get some help getting yanked out of your swamp, right? Do some healing prayers, get some energy clearing, learning to access your own Akashic Records, all of these, your meditation, your yoga, your forgiveness prayers, all perfect ways to help each of you, right, to start to clear and raise your vibration so we can move into the higher ascension energies with greater ease and grace.
And this is what most of us are needing, this helping hand. And remember these tools, friends, because Lisa is sharing you great wisdom so that you can remember these things and use these tools that are available. Just remember these things so that you can shift to your higher version and you come out of this swamp, as she so nicely puts it. So yeah, we're so excited to share this beautiful moment with you, Lisa.
Beautiful. All right, so let's just, I'll start. If you can close your eyes, let's just kind of relax back into your chair and close your eyes. I often like to put my hands on my kind of heart space, heart center, just focusing on this heart center, kind of dropping out of the busy, chattery head down into our high heart, our fourth chakra. And we just let our heart open and expand a little bit wider as we invite our body to relax into our chair. We invite our higher, wiser soul to come down more fully present in our physical body. We ask the divine lords of unconditional love to help us center fully in this moment as we create this sacred space. Please wrap us in your love and protection and allow us to travel to the highest realms of the Akasha available to us today. Please help as we lay our multidimensional hearts open to divine love and release all resistance. Lords of the Akashic Record, please guide us to the deepest truth we can access now. Support us in healing and releasing that which no longer serves on our true path. And we give great thanks for your divine love and light on this journey today. So just letting yourself notice what you notice. We invite the beautiful Akashic silvery blue column of light to come around everybody all around the world. Wherever you are encircled if you say yes. And we bring this group together with your consent. And we ask each and every one of our Akashic record keepers to help us to clear and release what is important for us in this moment. And so what I'm hearing from the record keepers is to really start with doing some work around just sweeping away these lower vibrations, which just they're really coming up to be released, these energies of things like
Perfect.
blame, shame, guilt. So I am going to do that energetically. And then I am also going to read the prayers that the record keepers have given us to clear some of these emotions. So just, oh.
Holding the
Just
space.
see it moving and shifting and clearing as the energy releases from your field. Each and every one of you have your own Akashic record keepers who are there with you, doing this work for you, because we've moved into the field. And I see them kind of disconnecting some of these old energies, whether it's guilt. We often have kind of ancestral guilt that we're born with and that gets reinforced in our lifetime. We have lots of shame that's even built into our school system, which I always find appalling. But often people are taught to work harder by using shame. And so we want to clear all that shame from our childhood, anywhere, all the way back to sometimes as little toddlers. Our parents shamed us for not being toilet trained by the time we're 1, or whatever it might have been for you. Just uplifting, clearing, releasing, deleting all of these old stuck energies and emotions that get stuck in our body. They get stuck in our auric field, energy field. They're kind of frozen outside of time and space. And so we can find them and clear them and delete them through the Akashic records. So you might feel this. It might feel swirly. It might feel cool. It might feel, I often see it almost as energy getting plucked out. So if you feel kind of energy getting plucked out of your field, that's what that would be. The swirly, oftentimes they almost use like a vortex vacuum cleaner energy to kind of vacuum out our whole auric field and energy field and all the way down into our body where all these low emotions and vibrations are hiding. We don't even know they're there because they happened when we were 2 or 4 or 6 or 10 or, whatever it might have been. So just keep breathing as the energy is moving out of your field. I like to kind of take a nice deep breath and blow it out, just kind of consciously releasing it. And we want to move it out of our auric field also. So sometimes what we'll find is after we do healing, it kind of is up in our face. And if we still feel like there's some of that energy after the healing, things like Epsom salt baths and just thanking that old vibration and energy for the lessons it's given you, and you bless it and release it and send it on its way. So many people notice that after a healing that they might feel a little tired or a little weepy sometimes because we're clearing kind of yucky old energy. So just so you know, but I will know for you that it will be clear and light and beautiful. So that's what we're working towards here for everybody. And so what I want to do also is read some of these clearing prayers that the record keepers have given us. So we're going to do the prayer for releasing blame.
Yes.
So again, just say, staying in your heart, dropping back down if you've kind of popped out. We ask our Mother, Father, Goddess, God, help me to grow so that I can comfortably take responsibility for my actions and my life. I understand that I am a creator being having a human experience. I release old blame and beliefs that anyone has done this to me. I stand in my power as a divine creator of my life experience. And so it is.
And so it is.
Blessed be. And let's do guilt also, because I love to get rid of all of these.
Yes, as many as we can, if you will.
Right.
That was very powerful, Lisa. Lots of energy moving. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I feel like
I feel a tingling from legs to head. So it's moving like in a whirlpool going all the way up, tingling
yes,
all over.
I
Yeah.
feel that, like,
Yes.
and I just felt that kind of chill go
Yeah.
up my body, and it's 95 degrees
tangible.
here, so I'm I
Yeah.
should be sweating, not getting chills, but anyway, so it's always exciting when our energy moves.
It is
and shifts.
amazing how it works. Amazing.
Okay, so this will be the prayer to let go of guilt. Mother, Father, Goddess, God, I notice the guilt from years past bubble to the surface when I remember certain situations. I feel this guilt poisoning my memories, and I feel small and unlovable when it arises. I know this guilt is not who I am. I ask to understand the lesson from this guilt as I release this belief that I could have changed the path of another or saved the world. I know our lives are perfect and in divine right order. I release all that is not in alignment with this knowing, and so it is. Blessed be.
Beautiful.
Hmm.
So beautiful. Oh, what a shift in energies. Much lighter. Like the energies around are more comfortable and more friendly, soothing.
And I feel like space. I'm like, oh, I've got more space.
Yes.
It feels kind of like, oh,
This,
yes, more room, right? Sometimes
yes,
those
the sticky energy is gone. Yeah.
So we want to fill up. Remember, as I said in the very beginning, when you do some healing and you create space, we want to fill it with our highest Akashic energy, our highest physical level energy, our highest wisdom, and the highest vibration, which I always see as gold, that we can now hold. So we ask our record keepers to fill us up with all of this beautiful Akashic wisdom, light, energy, physical level, and any updates or upgrades that they can give to our DNA, to any new codes or blueprints we can bring in now that we've cleared a lot of old kind of low vibrational emotions. So upgrading our bodies. And we ask for that to come into the body all the way down into the cellular level with ease and grace. And we put a nice time release bubble around everyone so that it can continue to activate and integrate for the next 3 days with ease. And we thank the Akashic Masters and beings of light for the healing, the love, the wisdom, and we close and lock our group records for now. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Amazing. So lightful energy now all around. And I'm sure this is true for all of our viewers and friends sharing this beautiful moment of clearing and connection with these beautiful energies. Thank you, Lisa. That was amazing. So remember, friends, if you want to have these beautiful prayers, from questioning to knowing, 73 prayers to transform your life, on Amazon, you can get it there. Beautiful. And this is so good. I would like to stay here forever.
Well, you
So
too
nice.
can learn to do this work and stay in it forever. So that's my big, that's what I believe in. That's what the record keepers asked of me all those years ago when they said, please teach people how to do this. It's your birthright.
Absolutely. It's surely your path, right? Your path here to teach and to remind others that they have these tools that they can use to raise their vibrations, because Ascension is definitely raising our vibrations to higher levels of consciousness, right? And these tools are perfect to do just that. So, so much wisdom, so many tools, beautiful friends. I mean, here they are for you. So we are unfortunately coming to a close, but before we do that, I would like for Lisa to share her beautiful, amazing free gift that she has for all of you. Can you tell us a bit about your free gift, please,
Yes,
Lisa?
absolutely. So if you enjoyed that little healing, my gift is a journey into the Akashic field. So I will, again, in this guided visualization meditation, take you into the Akashic records with me. You will actually be able to kind of walk through your own Akashic library. There's a beautiful, peaceful garden that we'll visit. We'll all bathe in the river of forgiveness, clear some old karmic patterns, and also have a chance to reclaim 3 gifts from our Akashic records throughout time space continuum. So it's a lovely guided visualization that gets you to go even deeper into your Akashic field.
Beautiful, beautiful. And thank you, Lisa, for your generous gift. And you can reach Lisa. This is her contact information through her website, www.akashicknowing.com. That is Akashic and Knowing capitalized. And you can also reach her through her, let us say, your YouTube, www.youtube.com/user/akashickknowing/videos, or www.facebook.com/akashickknowing. Anything else that you would like to add regarding your contact information, Lisa? If there's anything else, it's very easy to reach you and all of the information through your website, right?
Right, absolutely. So lots and lots of information about Akashic record readings and healing sessions with me. I still do a few a week, one-on-one sessions, and I teach online 3 times a year. And I have a home study class. So if you feel called to learn to access your own Akashic records, to learn many of these healing tools and more, please check out the classes, the ongoing courses that you can find on my website.
Please do that. You will find tons of beautiful, shining tools there to assist you in these ascension times of awakening, friends. This is your great chance to use them. So yeah, so we're closing, but before we do that, I would like you to please tell us about your greatest takeaways, your aha moments. Go to my private website group, and it's right below here, below this video, and or you can just hit the reply and tell us through this email, how did you experience this amazing moment with Lisa? What your greatest takeaways were, so that we can improve and add more tools that can be to your service and to greater use. So yes, I just have no words to thank you. Lisa, has been an amazing, just this hour just passed by so quickly. I had a great time. Thank you so much for all these tools. And thank you, friends, for sharing this wonderful time together with us. And we're closing. Just remember, your life is your creation. We are creators. How are you creating your life? With your thoughts, your deeds, your feelings. So be aware of that. It's all about awareness. Use these tools that are here for you. So for now, we're closing until next time, next episode. Thank you so much again, everyone, and namaste. See you soon. Bye for now.